Hi guys, welcome back. Evie here with Evolution Design, and I help businesses with web development, graphic, and printing. So today is episode 4 of So You Want to Start a Business, and I created this series this month to help the complete novice, of course, start their own business. And so this week's video focuses on product-oriented questions to answer before starting your business. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I asked you guys to sit down and answer a series of questions about starting your own business. And so this week, we're going to dive a little bit more into questions related to your business and the industry in general. So, as usual, let's jump right into it. Okay, question number 1. What is your business mission statement? While the importance of a business mission statement and how to write an effective one will be an entirely separate post video that I'll do, it does at least deserve to be mentioned briefly today. And so with a mission statement, this is going to communicate your values, provide direction, and working towards a single unifying purpose, and functions as a bedrock or core of any organization. And so your mission statement should have at least 3 components. The first component is your target audience. Component number 2 is the product or service you're selling. And 3 is what makes your product or service unique. And so it must be action orientated. So rather than just being focused on who you are, the statement itself should focus on what we do. But remember, there is no one right way to write a mission statement. Your mission statement can be a couple of sentences or a couple of paragraphs. So the next thing you want to come up with is your business name, and you want to make sure if it's available to trademark. So take some time to consider what that name is or should be. Is it sufficiently descriptive? Is it too similar to another name in your industry? Think about, is it easy to pronounce or remember? I know some people have a little bit trouble with minds. It's Evielutions, and so I hear different pronunciations of it. But if you want your business to be around for at least a few years, is this a name that you will still be proud of for and want to use 5 years from now? So you want to think long term also. One other thing to consider is whether that business name is already in use. So if a name is already in use, you will not be able to register your business name with the state authorities or obtain like a federal trademark for that name. And you will run into difficulties when it comes to developing a website and just having a consistent social media presence. And it can also be confusing to consumers when a business has a slightly different name across different social media platforms. So when at all possible, try to go with the name that is available wherever you plan to do business, okay? Next, you want to ask yourself, who is your target audience? And what does your ideal customer look like? So it can be helpful to sit down and describe the different types of customers that you think would benefit the most from your product or service. So for example, if you're starting like a residential eco-friendly cleaning service, your ideal customer, one, has the financial means to afford a regular cleaning service, and then 2, they value eco-friendly products or try to live like an eco-friendly lifestyle. And then also 3, they're probably likely don't have time or energy to clean their own home. So try to be as specific as possible. You also want to ask yourself, is your target audience male or female? What is their age range? Are they more conservative or liberal? What is their socioeconomic level? What is their education level? Do they use social media or do they read the newspaper? Where are they most likely to shop already? And what websites do they likely use? These are, I know, a lot of questions, but things that you really want to sit down and think about and ask yourself. And so depending on the product or service you are selling, some of these questions may be more relevant than others. Nonetheless, you want to try to come up with at least 2 or ideally 3 different types of customer profiles that would theoretically purchase your product or service. service. And then this information will, help you understand not only where to advertise your customers, but how to advertise to them effectively in order to make sales. Next, you want to find out what platform will you use to sell your products or services. Nowadays, there are so many online platforms that make e-commerce an easy way to sell, your product or service. And I firmly believe that every business should have their own website. I've written about this before, but websites are important to establish legitimacy, also to showcase branding and create a home base for customers that exists on its own, separate from the restrictions and regulations of other, platform websites like your Instagram, Facebook, things like that. However, I also know that for some small business owners, the cost of building and maintaining a website may be, too high to start off with. And so those are things to take into consideration. So this is where platforms like Etsy, while not like a replacement for a website, are an excellent space for newer business owners who are still kind of like testing the waters. Keep in mind that these platforms do take a percentage of your sales as part of like their listing and final sales fees, but they do receive high volume traffic, which takes some of the stress away from figuring out how to direct people to your website. Now, on the other hand, if you're selling a service, there are still plenty of platforms for you as well. There's like Fiverr, TaskRabbit, Upwork, are all like online platforms that allow users to showcase and sell their services. So it's similar to Etsy and Shopify. These platforms also will take a percentage of your sales in the form of a fee, like sometimes as high as 20%. But just like any other online spaces, these platforms, they do receive high volume traffic, which may mean less advertising is necessary on your end. I mean, it is a crowded space. There are tons of like freelancers and creative people on these platforms I'm mentioning. But a bonus is if you are just testing out whether turning your hobby or skill into a full-time small business is even feasible for you. Next, you want to ask yourself, will you need a license or a permit to run this type of business? So each state has different rules and regulations with respect to whether a license or permit is necessary to run a particular type of business. And so always default to the rules governing the jurisdiction that in which your business is physically located, or like the geographic location in which your business will operate. Generally speaking, all small businesses need some kind of license to legally operate. In fact, you may need more than one business license. Like for instance, you may need like a local, county, state. Just check with your state and everything and on those. But there is one important caveat. If you are not using your online platform as a business storefront and you aren't making notable profits, you don't have to worry about getting a business license. However, it is something to consider if you plan on expanding your business outside of, for example, Etsy or Fiverr. All right, guys, you guys are ready. If you have been on the fence about starting a business for some time, but have been held back because it just felt overwhelming, or you just had anxieties about the unknown, having concrete questions to answer have hopefully provided, some clarity for you guys. But at the very least, know that if you have made it, this far in the series and have answered these questions, then you are ready to start your own business. It is okay if you still have questions. I mean, in fact, leave them in the comment below. I may, I'm going to try to answer all questions as I've stated before. And if you don't have questions, but you're ready to start your own business, reach out to us again for that as well. So tune in next week. I think we will have the last episode of our series again every Monday. And you guys have a great week. Talk to you soon.